Hey, welcome to Dating Advice for Men Who Love Women. Whether you want to attract a woman for one night or for a lifetime, there's one tip that can instantly improve your chances with a woman once you're having a conversation or a date with her. And actually, this tip will make all of your conversations with a woman better, whether it's your first conversation with her, you're on a first or second or third date, you're already her boyfriend, or you've been married to her for 50 years. This is a critical yet simple tip for interacting with a woman. So, what is this simple yet powerful tip for having better, more attractive conversations with a woman? It's just let her talk. Yep, that's it. Let her talk. Now, I could end this presentation right now and just kind of let this idea sink in, let you kind of think about it throughout the day and start applying it every time you're talking to a woman. Because it is pretty simple. You just let her talk more than you do now, and your interactions with women are going to get better. That's the truth. So if you're sitting there thinking like, okay, yeah, I got this concept, then you can go ahead and close this presentation right now if you wanted to, and just make sure you apply it every single time you talk to a woman, especially if you want to date her or be with her. However, I want to give you a little more context behind this concept to make sure that you can apply it correctly when you're talking to a woman, and so that it's easier to apply when you're talking to a woman. And you can just kind of sit back, relax, and know you're doing things right when you're talking to a woman. And so here's the thing. Whenever you're having a conversation with a woman you want to attract, she should be talking about 60 to 80% of the time. That's a really good general rule. And if that's too specific for you, just make sure she's talking a little bit more than you, and you'll be golden. And this doesn't have to be every single time, all the time. You can talk as well. It's just a very good general rule to let her talk a little bit more than you do. And maybe she's not talkative today, so she's not talking as much. Well, in that case, you can talk a little bit more, but you should always be trying to encourage her to talk as much as she wants. And so here's the biggest key when you're talking to a woman that you want to attract. Your job is to facilitate her enjoying talking a lot, not trying to tell her all the stuff about you that you think will make her like you. I'm going to say that one more time. Your job is to facilitate her enjoying talking a lot, not trying to tell her stuff that you think will make her like you. Now, you might be thinking, if I don't tell her all the cool stuff about me, how's she going to know all the reasons why she should like me? Well, that's the opposite of the way we should think about this. Because the thing is, when she talks a lot and she tells you a lot about herself, ironically, she actually feels like she knows you better. And more importantly, that also makes her more attracted to you. It's a little counterintuitive sometimes how this works. So the more she talks about herself, the more she feels like she knows you. It's really interesting how that works. So you don't have to try to tell her all the cool stuff about you. Encourage her to tell you cool stuff about her because it's better for both of you. She feels more attracted to you. She feels more connected to you. She feels like she knows you better. And at the same time, you also appear more mysterious and more of a challenge, which is attractive to women. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's easier because you're not going to be in your head trying to think about the next thing to say when she's talking. You're going to be there in the present moment, and that's also attractive. Plus, when you're trying to convince her to like you by telling her all the cool stuff about you or by bragging, that's kind of trying too hard. Versus if she's telling you cool stuff about her, that's kind of her trying a little bit to gain your favor a little bit too. And dating is a two-way interaction. You're both buying and selling, and most men come from the approach of they're the only ones who are selling. And you should both be selling yourselves a little bit, and also you're both buying. So this actually just balances the interaction more, and when a woman is selling herself to you, she's also convincing herself that she likes you more. So this is the best thing for both of you. And honestly, this is maybe not true for everyone, but most women tend to enjoy talking a lot, and they tend to be pretty good at it. So your job is more to facilitate the conversation and lead it into fun and interesting directions, not necessarily to fill the whole thing up with all of your witty banter and all the amazing things about you and bragging. You can bring elements of witty banter, and you should. You should be playfully challenging with her. You should tease her a couple of times about something she says. You can share back a little bit. But at the end of the day, your main focus should be on facilitating her talking about herself and her life in a fun way. Because when a woman is talking a lot with you, assuming she has some romantic interest in you to begin with, she starts feeling much more attracted to you and much more comfortable with you at the same time. And again, she also feels like she knows you better, even though you also seem more mysterious and challenging. Now, this tip might sound really simple, or it might even sound counterintuitive, but just letting a woman talk a lot can improve all of your dates and all of your conversations with women 10 to 100 times, with even less work than it takes to try to come up with the perfect thing to say all the time. That's the wrong mindset. You're not going to be present in the moment. You're not going to be mysterious and challenging, and she's not going to get to talk as much if you have that mindset. And so instead of putting too much time and energy into thinking about how to say the exact right things at the exact right times with the woman and making it into almost like a second job for you to have conversations with the woman, just focus on relaxing, having fun, keeping things light, getting to know the woman you're talking to, and seeing if she's really a good fit for you when you're on a date. You shouldn't be working too hard. And so whenever you're talking to a woman or you're on a date with a woman, here's what you want to be doing. First, ask her open-ended, fun questions that allow her to talk a lot. That's one way to kind of facilitate her talking a lot. So for example, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why? That's a kind of fun question. It's super light. It's not heavy or serious. And she can talk a lot about it because you ask her why she would choose to be that animal. Or if you could be any dinosaur, what would you be and why? Or if you could have dinner with any person, living or dead, who would it be and why? And you're also kind of learning something about her and her personality in a light, fun way, and she gets to talk a lot. And then when she responds and she explains why, you can kind of riff on that and ask her a follow-up question that's open-ended. Or you can reply with something that's similar from your background and then ask her another open-ended question. And another one that I really love is, all right, so I'm curious, if you hit the lottery jackpot tomorrow and you never had to work again, what would you do and why? That's a little less light, but it's still not super heavy and serious, so you might want to save that for a little later on in the conversation. But I really love that question because she gets to talk a lot about herself, and you get to know her a little bit better in kind of a fun way. And so the first thing you want to think about is some open-ended questions that you can ask. So ask her open-ended questions. And then after she responds, you can ask her another open-ended question about something that she talked about. Oh, that's interesting. So what made you love horses so much, for example? See if there's a way to kind of allow her to talk more about a subject that she brought up. So you want to ask her fun, open-ended questions. And then as she's responding, if there's a topic that she brings up and it seems like she's into it, go with that and ask her another open-ended question about that subject and let her talk even more. And then listen to what she's saying. So when she's talking, you should be able to remember what she said on a test later that evening. Okay, so you want to listen to her. However, that doesn't mean that you want to lean into the conversation and hang on her every word and show her that every single thing that's coming out of her mouth is the most important thing in the world and you can't wait to hear. No, that's not what I mean. You can be actively listening to her where you're going to remember what she said and you're respecting her while she's talking, while you still kind of relax, have fun, and just enjoy her talking about herself and her life. So you want to maintain that balance still. You don't want to get too into the conversation and lean in and, again, hang on her every word. But you do want to listen. And a really cool way to show that is like, let's say you go on a third date with a woman and she mentions that she likes penguins or something. And that's the only time she tells you about it. And then let's say she becomes your girlfriend 2 or 3 months later. And then in the 4th month of you dating her, you see like a little penguin keychain, and you buy a little tiny penguin keychain for her, and you give it to her because she said on your 2nd or 3rd date that she liked penguins. And you showed her that much time later that you were listening on that 2nd or 3rd date. You have no idea how many points you're going to get for that kind of stuff. So listen to her, but don't hang on her every word. Keep that balance going. And so you want to sit back, relax, have fun, and listen. That's your mantra, not trying to think of the best, most awesome thing to say to make her like you. And then, of course, when she's talking, sometimes you want to play off of what she shares with some new threads or something that's relevant from your own life. So if she shares something and it reminds you of a short, fun story from your life, then go ahead and tell it. Or if you have a similar interest, you can talk about it for a second, like, oh yeah, I like this too because of this and this and this. And then once you share, start a new thread by asking her another open-ended question, or you can continue and ask her another one about a related topic if you want as well. So again, your goal is to facilitate her talking as much as possible while you share back a little bit less than she's sharing. That's the ideal we want to shoot for. And then, of course, you want to sprinkle in some playful teasing and some tension whenever you get a chance. So you're not losing that attraction when you're letting her talk. You're also kind of like, oh, that's why we can't have nice things when she drops something or whatever. You know, you want to tease her a little bit as well. So you want to put that spice in there, but it's a spice. The main course is her talking a lot. So you want to ask her open-ended questions, ask her additional open-ended questions as follow-ups. You want to listen to what she's saying. You want to play off what she's saying with stuff from your own life whenever you have a chance. And you want to sprinkle in some playful teasing and tension when it's the right time. You want to keep the conversation light and fun for the most part. So you don't want to go into serious, heavy subjects a lot. Keep the conversation light and fun. And then you want to share back from your end of things a little bit. Just make sure that you let her talk a little bit more than you talk, and you'll be golden. And again, don't try to share things that you think will make her like you or brag. That just kind of shows that you think she's in a higher position than you and that you need to convince her to like you. And it destroys attraction. So instead, just share relevant things from your life that seem interesting to you, that kind of make you who you are, or that are part of your life. So again, ask a woman open-ended questions, ask follow-up open-ended questions, listen to what she's saying, but don't hang on her every word. Play off what she's saying with some new threads when you get a chance. Share back a little bit when you get a chance, when it's the right time. Keep that playful teasing and that tension in there, and keep the conversation light and fun for the most part. And you're going to do much better in every conversation with a woman than if you're trying to think of the perfect thing to say next. And that's it. Even if you don't learn anything else about how to talk to a woman, if you go on a date with a woman and you just let her talk more than you talk, for the most part, you're going to do way better than most men do on a date. That's why this is such a powerful tip, even though it seems really simple at first. There's a lot of stuff underneath what goes into this tip. And you're going to see that when you start to apply it. You're going to see that you're doing better. More women want to go on more dates with you. They want to keep showing up, and they're more attracted to you and more comfortable with you at the same time, even though you're being more mysterious and more of a challenge, which is also attractive to the woman that you're talking to. So again, whenever you're on a date with a woman or you're having a conversation with a woman that you'd like to be with, and even after you've been together with a woman for 50 years, when you go on a date with her, let her talk. Talking to a woman on a date should not be something that holds you back from connecting with her at all. And letting a woman talk is almost like a superpower for a man, and most men never use it. So from now on, put this superpower into play with every woman you meet and watch how much more successful you are. And if you want to master the art of having an attractive conversation with a woman so that you can just relax, have fun, and be yourself when you're with your ideal woman, and so you can enjoy dating instead of being in your head, then make sure you grab our Flirting Master Program right now if you haven't already. Inside the Flirting Master Program, we cover exactly what to do step by step in every conversation that you have with a woman from here forward. So anytime you meet a woman or you go on a date with a woman or you're talking to a woman that you've been with for a long time, it goes through all of that and how to make sure that everything is absolutely firing on all cylinders when you're talking to a woman, so that if she has any interest in you at all, her interest in you is going to go up after every single conversation, and her attraction for you is going to go up in every conversation. And once she's deeply in love with you, if you apply everything we talk about, she's going to stay in love with you. And so if you're interested in mastering talking to a woman without learning any kind of robotic routines or changing into someone that you're not, this actually amplifies your genuine attractive personality. So you can kind of just relax and be yourself and have fun when you're talking to women. Then go grab the Flirting Master Program right now by going to attractandkeepher.com/FM. That's attractandkeepher.com/FM. The Flirting Master Program is the only program you will ever need about how to talk to women. And if you want to be able to hook up with women in a way that feels good to both of you, so you're both smiling in the morning, then make sure you grab your copy of The Good Guy Guide if you haven't already. Inside The Good Guy Guide, we go over what to do step by step from the first moment that you see a woman that you're attracted to or you meet her on online dating, to having that first conversation with her, to ending up at your place or hers, and how to go from there in a way that's good for everyone, for you and for her. So if that's something that's interesting to you, then go to datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG. And if you're looking for a long-term relationship with the right woman for you, then make sure you grab our best-selling Attract and Keep Her system right now if you don't already own it. This is our flagship program, and it shows you exactly what to do step by step from the first moment that you meet a woman until you've been dating her for a couple of months and she becomes your girlfriend, and how to make sure that she does become your girlfriend if you want, and to make sure her interest in you is going up over time instead of going down. And then, once you're already in a relationship with her and she's deeply in love with you, how to keep her in love with you as long as you want to be with her. So if you want an amazing girlfriend or an awesome wife and you want to build a great relationship with her, then go to attractandkeepher.com/system. That's attractandkeepher.com/system, and get the Attract and Keep Her system right now. And you might be thinking like, well, you have a lot of presentations here on this channel and you talk about a lot of things to do right and wrong in terms of attracting a woman and keeping her around. Yes, that is true. However, you need the system because it's all in one place, step by step. You won't make any mistakes. And a lot of guys have told me like, hey, I listened to a lot of your presentations for a long time and I was doing really well, but then I made a mistake and now what do? I finally got your system and I realized I shouldn't have done that thing and I wish I would have known it before. And I wish I would have just gotten your system instead of just trying to do it all on my own. And yeah, there's a reason why I created the system in addition to all of these helpful presentations. There's just something that you can't get out of all of these one-off presentations that you get from this whole system together. So if you've been listening to these presentations for a long time, I still highly recommend that you go get the Attract and Keep Her system right now and go through it starting today. This is the system that I wish I had when I was in high school or at least in college. And so I highly recommend you getting that. And if you like listening to these presentations, we have an audiobook version of Attract and Keep Her as well. And all of that is linked below. So definitely go grab the Attract and Keep Her system if you want to attract an awesome girlfriend or an amazing wife and build a great relationship with her. And as a thank you for checking out this presentation and being so awesome, we have some free gifts for you as well, of course. And if you're interested in any of that free stuff, then go to our website, datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com, and you can find all of those free ebooks and programs right there on our website. And with that, I'm Jim Wolfe from Dating Advice for Men Who Love Women. Whenever you talk to a woman that you want to be with or you want to attract from now on, let her talk.